the moment after the attack, I guess, if anything, I felt very strong, I felt very powerful. Like, I'd fought off this guy who was bigger than me, who'd caught me off guard, who'd completely beaten me up. I'd still managed to get away, and I'd managed to catch him. 2 months after the whole thing, I was devastated and depressed and felt weak and powerless. So yeah, I never questioned going to the cops and taking the case forward, but I guess looking back, I would totally understand if someone didn't want to do it.
Welcome to Why Indian Men Rape presents Survivor Stories, where we talk to people about their personal experiences of gender violence. We broadcast the voices of these inspiring women who speak frankly about their survival stories. Hi, I'm Tara Kaushal. Today we meet Adrienne T. Although Adrienne and I were merely acquaintances connected on Facebook, I was surprised not to have bumped into her more frequently. At this Bandra party, she told me why. How she had been recovering from a violent attack and rape attempt. Her story and her honesty sent chills down my spine.
And then the elevator doors open, and I ran out screaming, and the watchman was right there. And then I asked him to call the police, and then I asked him if anyone had come out the stairwell, if anyone had run out the building, and he said no. So my next instinct was to barricade the doors to the apartment building, because I thought, okay, if this guy's still in here, I don't want him to get out or to get away. So I kind of had a crowd, and I kept asking someone to call the police because I was on the phone with my friend, and I didn't really want to hang up on her because that was like my support line. At that point, where the door was barricaded, there was a pizza delivery man who was leaving the building. He immediately shouts at all of the watchmen and asked me who it is. The watchman said he lives on the 12th floor. And so they brought him down, and he was, I guess, wearing the same clothes that I'd seen him in and holding his crotch and like limping, and came down and immediately said to everyone, oh, she's crazy. I was upstairs sleeping, and he did this, like, I was sleeping, she's crazy, she's crazy. And so they made him sit down, and at that point my friends started to show up, and we went to car station. Maybe after another hour after they were writing it and everyone was going over it, they told me that it was done and that I could go home and it was taken care of. At that point it was, I think, 7 in the morning when I left. And they gave me the statement, I signed it. Honestly, I kind of read half of it. I was just at that, I guess, really tired, and all I kept asking, what I remember asking was, did you charge him with sexual assault? And they said yes. So then I left. A few hours later, a friend who'd heard about it called me, and she said, you know, I hate to tell you this, but you really should go to a hospital and get your medical report done, and you should do it if you can bear it, you should do it within the first 24 hours. So I said, okay. Someone called a lawyer. They asked which hospital I could go to get this done. Apparently Breach Candy was on the list, so I went there. Then in the night, I kind of just had this weird feeling, so I looked at the case that I had, or the charge sheet, and I just Googled the numbers of the charges that he'd been given, and it came up as upsetting a woman's modesty. And on the website it said what that sentence was. And it was 3 months, I think, was the maximum sentence for that. And I just remember being like, this isn't at all what I said or what I thought happened. A criminal lawyer who had me come in immediately looked over what I had, said, okay, this doesn't match your story at all. You need to go have this changed as soon as possible because he's going to post bail. The next day I come in with the social worker from the law firm, and we go and we kind of say we need to get this new statement accepted, we need to have his charge changed, and we want to do something to block his bail, or say that we really we don't want him to get bail because we live in the same building. And then the female cops called the jail to see where he was, and then they burst out laughing, and she kind of translates to me, "You've come to block his bail, but he's already posted bail." And they just kind of laugh. So we're sitting in the police station and they're laughing, I guess, at this scenario that I've been sitting there waiting for 2 hours, and in that time this guy's made bail. Then they said that my medical report wasn't valid because it was from Breach Candy Hospital, so I needed one from Baba Hospital in Bandra. And then I had to go meet 7 different doctors. All in all, it took us 4.5 hours at Baba Hospital. Then they told me I had to do a reenactment of the crime, or like of where it happened, and show them exactly where it happened, which I really didn't want to do. I guess the one benefit of doing that was, for the first time, after when we got in the lift and were going back down, the female cop hugged me. I went back to the court, I think another 8 times in Bandra with my social worker from the law firm to try to change the charges and to figure out why they wouldn't change the charges.
So you did everything you could.
I still haven't had the court case a 1.5 years later, which is why I didn't want that. So anyways, I am asking them, so I basically refused to leave the courthouse in Bandra East, and by the end of the day, he showed it to me and the social worker, and we saw that from day one, nothing had been changed. And that was when I think that was kind of my most devastated moment, where I felt like everything we'd been trying for 2 months had kind of been, had fallen on deaf ears. I left the courthouse and I couldn't get a rickshaw or a taxi home, so then I'm just walking home after having this kind of like incredibly deflated moment. And then so when after about a week, I kind of picked myself up and I contacted my lawyer and I said, okay, well, what can we do now? And then the lawyer said to me, she said, I don't know why you want him to go, why you're so obsessed with revoking his bail, because, you know, jail's hard for him too. And I think that for me was, I just kind of lost it. It meant, like, quietly, I was just like, what are we doing here? Like, what have I gone through? What's the justice? If jail's hard for him too, like, and that's the concern. Yeah, it just was kind of floored. For me, it was this huge thing that had happened to me, but I guess the attitude that I kept being met with was that it wasn't a big deal, or people didn't need to hear about this, or why was I fighting so hard for it, or I was just stressing myself out, or why was I so involved in the case? That was one of the other things that I was told. And I really felt like if I'm not there standing up for myself, no one else is.
And clearly no one else did.
Yeah, and no one else did. And that's when I kind of had to make a decision. Was I going to keep fighting and keep going, or take some time and just try to, like, I guess, heal in my own way on my own? Because at this point it's been 2 months of not sleeping, not living in your own home, you know, so on top of that, feeling homeless, feeling alone, not working. I messaged all my clients, like, something's happened, I can't really work. So on top of the need to pay a lawyer, you're feeling financially stressed at not working in that time. So I kind of realized like something had to change and I should just focus on taking care of myself, yeah.
Wow, I mean, did it ever occur to you when it happened not to actually take it forward? I mean, was there a moment where you thought, in the beginning, where you thought that this wasn't the right thing to do?
There was no question. It was like, this guy just did something horrendous. Let's catch him. Let's take him to the police station and let's charge him. I understand that having now gone through the process, I think if someone ever told me they didn't want to charge someone or go through the legal process, now I would completely understand, because it was almost, if not more horrendous, those 2 months. again, dealing with and like having to beg the cops for information. Again, you're kind of putting yourself in these vulnerable like situations over and over and over again where no one really cares, and I think that feeling was way worse than I ever imagined. I'm happy that I went through the process to at least know and understand it, because I feel like somehow I could offer that help to someone else, but I don't wish that process on anyone.
Wow. So you've kind of explained this, but in a nutshell, apart from the fact that it should have been much easier time-wise, what do you think they could have done differently for you?
I think just maybe the act of listening. When you come back and you ask for help from the cops, I think it's also would be nice to, one, feel heard, not to be laughed at, and to be taken seriously. The lawyers all seem to know one thing, and the cops seem to have a different agenda or a different set of information.
It's a year and a half later. Where are you at today?
Okay. Well, in a lot of ways, I'm doing really well. Like, I obviously started working again, and another positive, I think, was that it really helped me reframe how I wanted to work, only taking on projects I actually wanted to do. I fell in love, got married, so that's like another amazing thing that's happened in that time. Met someone who could genuinely offer me quite a bit of support while I was kind of going through this. Because I did also find that some of my Indian male friends, this was a very difficult topic for them to discuss with or engage with past the point. So I don't know, and again, I guess refinding my voice and feeling, again, that it's really important to keep sharing these stories. I think in a way, me being so public with it, me having gone through the legal system, me being very, never trying to hide it, going to the cops, immediately after it happened, it's just opened up a platform for people to talk to me about it, because they know I'm very comfortable talking about it.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. That was insane. What a story.
Yeah.
And you're here, and
obviously I thought about leaving after it happened. Yeah, I wasn't going to let that attack be the reason I left India.
if you have been impacted by the issues raised in this episode, please spread the word and contribute. Thanks for watching.